Trick or Treat is an anthropological horror comedy film first screened in 2007. It serves as the directorial debut of Michael Dougherty, who went on to direct Krampus and the 2019 Godzilla movie. After being publicly released straight to video in 2009, the movie gained a cult following through rentals, small screenings, and the newly accessible iTunes Video Store. The structure consists of multiple different storylines on the same Halloween night, tied together by the repeating presence of a small, masked kid, entity, spirit known as Sam, who I'm sure you've seen amongst someone's lawn decorations or like as a costume. The separate narratives slowly come together by the end of the film, giving a more complete picture of the night, but is still presented out of sequence. So I'm gonna rearrange the pieces and put Trick or Treat in chronological order. Obviously, major spoilers ahead, so turn back now. The movie's only an hour and 22 minutes, so just go watch it real quick if you haven't. The film follows 5 main groups whose stories are intercut throughout the movie. To simplify going forward, I'll call them the costume couple, the principal, the girls, the kids, and the old man. Okay, first let's do a quick plot summary so we can see how the movie presents these storylines and what we have to put together. The opening shot shows someone pulling a wagon with a jack-o'-lantern right out into the road and nearly getting hit by a car. This is all right in front of a house owned by the first group we're introduced to, the costume couple. As they make it back, we learn the robot's name, Emma, and she's done with Halloween. So over it that she wants to take down the decorations and pumpkins immediately, at whatever time of night it is. When Henry, her husband/knight, or like medieval armor man, hears this, he warns her not to take them down until after midnight because of ancient tradition. She obviously doesn't believe him and tells him to go inside and put on the tape while she removes all the decorations. Henry does, but falls asleep despite the thrilling nature special he put on, not realizing Emma is getting jump scared and attacked by someone under one of the lawn ghosts. Sometime later, he finally wakes up and sees that she still hasn't come inside yet for their nature time. He goes outside to look for her and notices only one of the decorations remains lit. When he pulls back the sheet, he finds Emma's body set up as a Halloween decoration. This leads to the title card. After which, we open on a Halloween festival in the town square with local news coverage. One of the stores is a costume shop where we meet the second group, the girls. As they try on the costumes, they're spied on by a little peeping Tom. Fun fact, the young actor who plays the voyeur also plays Sam. While checking out, Danielle, the leader of the squad, flirts with the cashier and invites him to a party in the woods after his shift. For a moment, we cut away and see a kid smashing pumpkins while going up to a doorstep and looting some unattended candy. But he's caught in the act by our next story, the principal, as he returns with a refill of candy.
Sit down, Charlie.
The movie cuts back to the girls with 2 more of them getting dates, while Lori, dressed as Red Riding Hood, is nervous about her first time. Notice how I use air quotes, just wait. Again returning to the principal and the mean kid Charlie, they're sitting on the principal's doorstep as he offers Charlie some of his candy he left out, while he gives him a lesson on their traditions of Halloween. Suddenly, Charlie starts choking and vomiting fountains of like chocolate fondue.
Always check your candy.
Then Charlie straight up dies. The principal struggles to lug Charlie inside and immediately gets interrupted by trick-or-treaters.
Just a minute!
When he opens the door, he sees our next group, the kids. After giving him some candy, Macy asks if they can have his jack-o'-lantern for some UNICEF thing. Just before closing the door and getting back to Charlie, there's one more trick-or-treater. Oh, what's up, Sam? Back to the girls. The 3 leave Laurie with their dates to head to the party. She wants to find a partner for the night by herself. In the background of this scene, we see the robot walking around. Okay, keep track of that. Wait, now back to the principal? We see his chemistry station for poisoning the candy as he moves his way to the backyard to bury Charlie. The whole sequence is really funny because his kid won't chill the hell out.
And I'll be in a minute.
Charlie Brown's an asshole!
During this commotion, the neighbor's dog starts joining in too. As the dog's owner comes out to see what's going on, the principal hides in the homemade grave, but is jump scared by another victim who's still alive. After getting yelled at through the fence about the noise and the smell, he can finally fill in the hole.
Daddy! I want to carve the jack-o'-lantern out!
How about that?
Just before getting inside though, he looks over and sees the neighbor yapping about something and banging on the window. With that stuff out of the way, the principal can finally take care of his kid and go make a jack-o'-lantern. They go down to the basement and... oh my god. Wait. He's teaching his kid how to carve a face on Charlie. Alright, get me out of here. The kids are still trick-or-treating and asking for pumpkins, but stumble across a Halloween party. Oh look, a hot dog. Why am I on there?
Judy! Of course, Why am I on there?
Next stop is to grab Rhonda and some of her 1,000 pumpkins that she made.
Is that Rhonda the retard?
We head back to the parade where, in an alleyway, we see a man in black rounding the bases with someone. As things progress, she notices she's bleeding and got bit by the guy. Frantically trying to get away, she races back towards the parade and does a perfect homage of I Know What You Did Last Summer. Even down to the getting killed part, but not before asking for help from the robot. Back with the kids, they make it to the quarry and we learn they're collecting the pumpkins as an offering for the victims of the school bus massacre. According to town legend, 30 years ago, there was a school for special needs children, and one Halloween day, the parents grew embarrassed of their kids and paid the bus driver to not take them home. Not only that, but to chain them down and send the bus off the cliff and into the water? Holy shit! The kids go down an elevator to investigate the supposed site of the crash, and we return to Laurie still hunting for a date. As she walks through the festivities, we slowly recognize that she's being stalked by the man in black. After taking a seat, we get another cameo from the robot again.
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell no, man.
While sitting, she gets a call from Danielle, who's at the forest party waiting for her to get a date and head over. During the call, Laurie finally spots the man in black before he walks away. Once getting to the bottom of the quarry, Rhonda gets separated and looks for the other kids. During the search, she stumbles upon the crash site of the bus. Not just the bus, but the zombie kids. A chase ensues and Rhonda frantically tries to escape. Her glasses pull a Velma and fall off,
My glasses. I can't find my glasses.
leading her to trip and knock herself out. When she comes to, the zombie kids reveal themselves to be the normal kids. That's messed up, dude. Rhonda leaves and heads back to the elevator to get out of there. While the others slowly follow her, they hear some strange noises. But this time, it's no joke. It's the real zombie kids from the bus. They hurry back to the elevator but see Rhonda locked herself inside. After pleading and pleading for her to let them in, she motions for the lock.
No, it's not a trick. It's real.
But they boy who cried wolf themselves, and Rhonda ascends alone. This seals the kid's fate as she escapes the quarry with her jack-o'-lantern, hearing the others scream echoing up the cliff. At least she got to see Sam, though. Red, aka Laurie, is finally making her way to the party as she goes over the river and through the woods. She's more and more suspicious of something in the trees until she gets accosted by the man in black. The other girls at the party are intercut waiting while Laurie gets bitten and screams. A red-caped body falls to the ground at the party, but is revealed to be the worse-for-wear man in black. Laurie steps out from behind the spectators, joining the others, as one of the girls unmasks the man, revealing Principal Wilkins. He's congratulated on being Laurie's first, ayo, and we pull back seeing the other dates taken as victims at the bonfire. Including Hot Dog Man, bruh, no. The girls then get undressed. Right, this movie's freaky as hell. But then take their skin off and show that they're werewolves. Laurie eats the principal, concluding her first time. Hey, Sam, dog, you might want to leave, dude. An earlier comic card takes us back to trick-or-treating as we officially meet our final character, the old man, as he scares off some trick-or-treaters. Instead of celebrating the night, he goes back inside and turns on the TV while sitting in his old man chair. The station shows the live broadcast back from the Halloween parade, so that'll play an important reference point later on for the time frame. While he tries to relax, constant noises from outside distract him and his puppy, and his dog goes out to investigate. He shambles behind to see what's going on, but discovers the cause of the ruckus to be his neighbor messing around in the backyard. When he gets back in, his dog alerts him to the front door. With his bat in hand, he flings it open to find his lawn now decorated with a bunch of jack-o'-lanterns. Before he can react, his dog starts barking inside again, staring at the ceiling. Suspensefully, he goes upstairs, following his dog until he hears a whimper off-screen. Bruh, why do they always have to kill the dog? The old man makes it to the bedroom but discovers it too full of Halloween spirit, with the phrase, "All work and no play, trick or treat, give me something good to eat." He gets stabbed in the Achilles by something under the bed who turns out to be, oh, Sam. Oh, what's up? Wait, bruh, did you kill the dog? A fight ensues and the old man gets home alone down the stairs with candy, broken glass, and razor blades. He tries to leave through his Fort Knox front door with his cut up hands, but gets jumped by Sam. He's able to free himself for a moment to call out for help from his neighbor. Well, we all know how that goes.
Screw you.
Struggling on the floor, he grabs Sam's mask, and we get to see he's a skeleton pumpkin kid? That's nice. With some shotgun shells, he incapacitates Sam and sends pumpkin guts everywhere. Ew. But Sam's dismembered hand crawls back over and wakes him up. He puts himself back together and lumbers over to the old man for one last attack. As he raises his lollipop dagger, the old man screams, and with a crashing strike, Sam takes his candy bar. Trick or treat! Sam looks back at the old man and heads out onto the next house. Panning to the fireplace, we see a picture of the bus massacre being burned, learning the old man was the corrupt bus driver. Sometime later that night, he opens the door to more trick-or-treaters, bandaged up, but full of Halloween spirit, and gives out some candy. Finally participating in the night, he looks out and sees the principal's kid giving out candy, Rhonda and her pumpkin crossing the street, a car with all the girls, and a costume couple walking home and blowing out the jack-o'-lantern. Sam gives him one last look before walking away across the street, ready to give the costume couple a trick-or-treat. As the old man goes back inside, he gets interrupted by the doorbell yet again. This time, it's the zombie kids from the bus crash finally making it back to him. With a wheeze and a cut to black, we end with a nice loop of the beginning tying to the end, seeing the old man's fate in the comic book style credits. Now that we went through the plot exactly how the movie shows it, you can see how much back and forth there is and how they use that to play with when the events happen. But luckily, between the beginning and ending sharing events, the news broadcast, and the constant recurrence of Robot Emma, we can actually get to the bottom of how these stories chronologically played out. Using the background clues, I numbered all the scenes and rearranged them so we can see how the night progressed. Let's first start with the bus massacre. Macy tells us it happened 30 years ago, so when we see the flashbacks, that obviously is our initial event. Since it doesn't happen during the same night as everything else, let's number that as 0 and just get that out of the way. This means that the first event of the night is that mean kid Charlie walking away from the parade. We can see people walking in the other direction toward the start of the festivities, but he also passes Principal Wilkins buying more candy. That explains how he gets to his house just after Charlie smashes the pumpkins, and why he's all alive right now. While Charlie leaves the town square, we also see the girls getting out of their car and heading for the costume shop. Immediately after, we know the news broadcast happens because we see the people who presumably passed Charlie head into the town square as the reporter begins speaking. This point also helps line up two other sections in the film. We saw the same hockey player, stilts person, and drum players on the old man's TV when he turned the channel, so that's definitely happening right now. And the broadcast dialogue is overlaid into the girls shopping and putting on their costumes.
The scariest thing we can think of.
This whole sequence can be a 1.5 point because it's a direct continuation off the first point, seeing Charlie walking away. Number 2 on the timeline would be when Charlie gets to the principal's house and knocks over the pumpkins and then gets confronted about the candy. Then we know he gets poisoned and Wilkins struggles to get him inside. This occupies him until he's interrupted by the kids. After he gives them candy, they continue walking down the street, and Wilkins immediately grabs the blanket to wrap up Charlie and drag him out back. Leading to our third defined event, which matches up two stories really nicely. The principal juggles burying Charlie, getting his kid to shut up, finishing off his other victim, and dealing with the old man investigating. We can see this exchange from both perspectives, and since the scene stays with Principal Wilkins filling the grave, that means the old man's suspenseful discovery and battle with Sam, up until the window interaction, happens right now. Again, another great match shot of the two incidents. As Wilkins comes in, he gets a carving knife and his kid and goes down to the basement to make the Charlie lantern. In this time frame, Sam finishes with the old man, leaving him to reflect, meaning the burning picture happens around the same time as the head reveal. The kids were seen trick-or-treating down the street, so now they must have made it to the house with the raunchy party inside. In this fourth bit, they see Hot Dog Man and leave to walk down the street for the meetup with Rhonda. Around this same time, the girls are finished choosing their costumes and begin finding dates. Still at the store, Danielle asks out the cashier as they check out, and we see them walk out and then down the block. During this continuous scene, they bump into the costume couple and meet the news van people. This tells us not only that the news broadcast is over, but that the robot is still moving around the festival. Between the principal and Charlie interaction, the old man attacks, and the three girls finding dates, all must occur almost simultaneously, definitely very close together in this same window. This order makes sense because after many intercuts in time, we know the kids are making the walk to the quarry after getting Rhonda's sacrificial pumpkins. During the time it takes them to travel there, we can assume the old man is trying to bandage himself up, and the principal changes into his man in black costume and heads to his date at the town square. Also, during the downtime until those stories continue, the girls are at the point where they hop into the news van with their dates. Before Laurie stays behind though, we see Emma walking away in the background. The 6th time frame is where Wilkins' earlier line to his son about his date pays off.
Oh, Daddy has a date.
We know he's the man in black, so we can confirm he's now back at the town square and having a freak off with his date in the alley. After he attacks her and she comes running out for help, we know the date crosses paths with Emma the robot. This fits because we just saw the couple walking away in the background of the van scene. So now Laurie's walking around the festival alone looking for her date, putting the 7th event right after the man in black date murder. This is how he's free to appear stalking right behind her during the middle of her search. As she stops on the bench to take a call from Danielle, we not only see the man in black creeping, but can pin the costume couple because they pass through the frame having an audible discussion. This is the last Emma Easter egg, so they must be heading back to the house now. Concurrently though, the kids arrived at the quarry and Macy told the bus driver tale. At this point, the start of the zombie kid fake out prank occurs. The key clue is that at the end of Laurie and Danielle's phone call, and Rhonda waiting for the elevator, they all hear and react to the sound of wolves howling in the distance. We know the prank has to start now because the initial setup was that Rhonda and the pirate kid had to take the elevator down second after the other kids. This gave them the time to get into the zombie costumes at the base of the quarry. This whole coinciding event was huge in giving us the information to place 4 of the groups at this moment. Since Rhonda got knocked out during the prank, the 8th sequence happens moments after and is the real attack of the zombie bus kids. That short event cuts to our 9th of Laurie walking alone in the woods to meet up with the girls at the forest party. This is the next event because by using the context clues of the scene, we see that she's deep in the woods. This means she didn't just leave the bench she was sitting on in town. And for that reason, we can conclude that while the fake and real attacks on the kids were happening, she was making the trek by foot to the party, making this end up in a slightly later time frame. What does also happen though is her detection of the man in black and his attack on her. This is immediately cut to the dropping of the red cloak at the party where the girls discover it's not Laurie but the man in black. The last we saw a moment ago, she looked like a goner. So this is the next event because it shows the time of her getting the upper hand, incapacitating him, and bringing him the rest of the distance to the party for the grand reveal. Also to reveal to the girls that she's arrived. And we see the dead hot dog man. I'm still bummed about that. As the girls catch up, the freaky ass ritual starts for the 11th point, eventually climaxing into Laurie killing the teacher. This marks a big spot on the chronological timeline because it finishes up the main portion of multiple stories. So now back to the old man because his scene of giving out candy comes next. It was opened with a later comic card, which fits because it gave him time to get all bandaged up. It also gives the principal's son the opportunity to put on his dad's murder clothes and hand out candy, maybe even starting a family tradition. We also see the old man watching the opening scene again with Rhonda walking home, the girls celebrating in the car, and the costume couple finally making it home. Seeing Sam stand there watching has a whole new meaning now, because instead of the attack on the old man happening moments ago, little homie had a busy night doing pretty much everything else in the movie. It's not like he just walked outside. I guess he's just checking to make sure the old man really changed his ways. And to jump Emma. While she takes down the decorations, her POV show the dead kids walking away from the old man's house. So that means his attack just happened. It makes sense she didn't realize because in the final scene, the old man just wheezes, just like we heard him doing earlier. This means Sam pops out and kills Emma just seconds later, since the shots after her POV is her attack. The last of the entire chronology of Halloween night leaves Henry waking up to the end of the VHS tape and going outside to a quiet street to find Emma's body as a decoration. That, funnily enough, organizes the story perfectly into 13 discernible sections. And you know what? That's also the luckiest number on Halloween. How about that? So we did it. We took Trick or Treat, an anthology full of Easter eggs and clues, and were able to string it together into a simple timeline of events. I haven't seen anyone else thoroughly do this yet, so I hope you enjoy and let me know what you think. Comment any other anthologies or movies in general you want to see me cover. This took a ton of work to grind and get out, so drop a like, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Happy Halloween, and peace.